No, I don't care if they come back or not. If they don't come back, I'm fine. Their military is gone. Their missiles are largely depleted. The manufacturing capability for missiles and drones is largely defeated.
As we watch that waterway, we're also following some latest reaction from Iranian officials. One Iranian official saying that the president is bluffing. Another Iranian parliament member now saying, quote, to the president, if you fight, we will fight.
The president of the United States of America has declared that the U.S. Navy is going to block the Strait of Hormuz to take control of every ship and vessel that will be passing across the Strait of Hormuz. Well, let's listen to this news and see what exactly is going on in the Middle East and the Persian state in particular.
And a Fox News alert, because starting now, the U.S. military will begin enforcing a full-scale blockade of all maritime traffic into and out of Iran as Navy minesweepers clear a path to open the Strait of Hormuz after high-stakes peace talks end without a deal. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino.
Morning to you. I'm Bill Hemmer. Here we go. This is the hour. The fate of the 2-week ceasefire unclear as Iran refuses to give up on its nuclear program. The U.S. declaring a naval blockade against Iran after both sides walked away from the talks late on Saturday. The Strait of Hormuz is a key flashpoint as the president ramps up the pressure continuously on Tehran.
Their military is destroyed. Their whole Navy is underwater. Other nations are working so that Iran will not be able to sell oil, and that will be very effective. But there are many boats heading toward our country to fill up with oil and then go and take it. So they're not going to go through the Hormuz Strait, and ultimately that'll be corrected.
And we have Fox team coverage. General Jack Keane is standing by. Alex Hogan has an update from the White House. But first, Matt Finn is near the Strait. He is live in Dubai. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Dana. The president says that U.S. blockade of ships entering or exiting Iranian ports is going into effect at this hour out on the Strait of Hormuz in the distance behind me on the Persian Gulf. Now, over the weekend, CENTCOM says that for the first time since this war began, 2 U.S. destroyers entered the strait. The U.S. ships are working to clear any mines, along with the help of underwater drones. And now President Trump says the U.S. will block Iranian ports out on the Hormuz Strait, potentially devastating Iran's economy. The president writing, Iran promised to open the Strait of Hormuz, and then they knowingly failed to do so. As they promised, they better begin the process of getting this international waterway open and fast. Every law in the book is being violated by them. Now, Iran is warning its military may retaliate, threatening wreckage and a reckoning. An Iranian military spokesperson is saying if the security of the ports of the Islamic Republic of Iran in the waters of the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Oman is threatened, no port in the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Oman will remain safe. Now, here in the Middle East.
So this is a clear signal from the Persian state, Tehran, where the naval spokesperson of the IRGC has made it clear that if the U.S. stops the usage of their ports, that they are going to also make every other port around the Gulf not to be functional. And you know, they mean that whenever they mention that, as we have seen in the past during the armed conflict between the U.S., Israel against the Persian state, we saw what happened. And if they are making this kind of statement, I think they could do it. And so the best thing is, in as much as we are not encouraging a armed conflict across the globe or the Middle East, not even around the Strait of Hormuz, it will be interesting that everything, dialogue should speak more. We should consider dialogue more. The authorities in all parties, all sides should consider dialogue more instead of going into armed conflict. We don't want that. We want peace everywhere in the world. So they should consider dialogue and see how to negotiate it peacefully.
UAE official estimates that 800 commercial ships have been left stranded throughout all this, and about 400 are fuel tankers. Dana? Bill?
Okay, keep us posted on all of that there as he's in the region. Thank you, Matt.
So from there, Dana, we move to the White House. Alex Hogan watching there. And Alex, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. So the president says that this should go into effect right now. He has been ordering the Navy to not only blockade the Strait of Hormuz, but also sweep the critical waterway of mines. Today, we're seeing that oil once again surpassing $100 a barrel. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche says the Department of Justice will prosecute anyone buying or selling sanctioned Iranian oil. President Trump told Fox's Maria Bartiromo yesterday the Iranians will feel this pressure.
They come back and they give us everything we want. And I told my people, I want everything. I don't want 90%. I don't want 95%. I told them I want everything.
And then last night, he struck a different tone about the future of negotiations.
No, I don't care if they come back or not. If they don't come back, I'm fine. Their military is gone. Their missiles are largely depleted. The manufacturing capability for missiles and drones is largely defeated.
21 hours of negotiations this weekend ended with no deal. Vice President J.D. Vance presented a final offer to Iran, which includes red lines like ending uranium enrichment and fully reopening the Strait with no more tolls. Well, Iran claims it is still in control of the critical waterway, saying this: contrary to the false claims of certain enemy officials, the Strait of Hormuz is open for the passage of non-military vessels under smart control and management in accordance with specific regulations. So again, we are watching this developing story to see what happens in the next minutes or potentially hour as we watch that waterway. We're also following some latest reaction from Iranian officials. One Iranian official saying that the president is bluffing. Another Iranian parliament member now saying, quote, to the president, if you fight, we will fight. Bill?
Yeah, this seems to be funny that these guys at times they react beyond your expectation. And these are people who were the world, majority of the world were calling for a ceasefire from the US and the authorities in Tel Aviv, Israel, not to continue with the hostilities, just to cease fire, to enable, create an avenue for dialogue and peaceful resolution. But they keep sounding as if they can withstand the pressure from the US and the Israeli authorities. We could see that they are not even serious in terms of making peace from this conflict or in this problem that is forthcoming. As it stands now, you can see very well that the US government, the naval, the US Navy has already taken over the Strait of Hormuz, and nothing can stop them or push them back. Whoever tries to do, it will be interesting again for them not to, venture into attacking the US Navy so as not to create chaos across the Strait of Hormuz. Let there be normalcy. If the authorities have said that they are going to allow non-military vessels to pass for the sake of supply of energy, petroleum products across the world to people, it will be more interesting than the IRGC continue threatening the US with harms or going to, warning that there could be attacks. And the consequence of attacking the US Navy, that whoever or any group of marine that would dare that are not going to leave that environment, alive. So it will be interesting and very, very important for them to consider a peaceful dialogue instead of a armed conflict. Everybody have to give peace a chance, because that is the only way we can thrive. But when there is conflict and crisis, I bet you that nobody will really enjoy the consequence of it at the end of the day. These are what we have seen. And it is interesting to know that the US have declared that their navy is blocking the Strait of Hormuz just to make sure that petroleum products are able to pass for effective supply across the globe to everyone who is using that route, that sea route, to gain or have access to petroleum products. And they have also called for continuous sanction on Iranian oil, and also extending this sanction to everyone that shall be buying it or will be buying it. So I think they should consider peaceful dialogue. Let's have a peaceful resolution. Let's give peace a chance across the world, as terror, war, crisis, violence, war will not have any value to our people and humanity in general. See you in our next video.